Hello students. In the last 10 sessions we have discussed unit 1 and today we are going to discuss unit 2. So in this unit 2 we are having these contents, that is structure of materials. So in the structure of materials we are having space lattice, unit cells and BCC, FCC, SCP structures and crystallization of metal, dendrite growth, grain boundary, grain size and grain size effect on the properties and factors affecting the grain size and what is recrystallization. So in the coming sessions, we are going to discuss these points in our sessions. Okay. So what is meant by this space lattice, unit cell, and what are the different structures we are having? So in our syllabus, we are having BCC, FCC, and SCP structures as per C18 curriculum. And later we have crystallization of metals. So how the crystallization process will occur and what is meant by dendrite growth, what is meant by grain boundary, grain size, and what is the effect of its the grain size and the properties, how it will be influenced, and what determines the grain size, and that means what are the factors that should be considered to get a grain size, and what is meant by recrystallization. These things we are going to study in the coming sessions. And if you come here, if you see here, see here, in this session, we are going to discuss structure of materials. So this second unit covers structure of materials. So what are the different types of structures that are available for materials, engineering materials? So those things we will discuss. Already I showed you the content, that means syllabus what we are having for in C18 curriculum. So before going into that structure of materials, first we have to understand what is the meaning of structure and what is the introduction for this structure of materials we have to discuss. So for that one, see, in this slide, we are going to discuss only two topics, that is space lattice and unit cell. So what is meant by space lattice and what is meant by unit cell, we will discuss. Before going into enter into the space lattice and unit cell, we have to understand uh, why we have to learn this structure of materials. So before going into that one, we should have some questions. We should question ourselves to understand the concept in a good manner. So first one is, if you see this one, if you see the slide, we are having one question, that is, why some metals are hard and some metals are soft? Okay. So we will see some metals will be hard and some metal will be soft. Why they are like that? What is the reason? And if you see second one, while some metals are brittle and why some are ductile. Already we have studied what is brittleness and what is ductility. So we are saying that some metals are brittle and some metals are ductile. Why it is happening like that? And why some metals can withstand high temperatures and why cannot withstand high temperatures? So if you take some materials, they can uh, withstand high temperatures even, but some materials they cannot withstand high temperatures. Okay, why you are getting these differences? And if you see, the answer is only because of the structure. Okay, so if you study the structure properly, then you are able to understand the behavior of these metals. Okay, so that is the purpose we have to study the structure of materials. So we have to understand. So we have to understand the behavior, and we have to understand the structure of that material. Based on structure only, we can say that it will behave in this way. It will behave in this way. It can withstand the high temperature. It may be brittle. It may be ductile, such that we can say by understanding these structures. So that is the main purpose to study the structure of materials. So objectives. So what we are going to discuss here, if you see here. So as per syllabus, we may discuss introduction to this structure of materials in detail. But as per syllabus, we are having two parameters, that is space lattice and unit cell. Okay, so these 2 points we have to study well and we have to understand properly. But if you want to understand the space lattice and unit cell, you have to understand what is meant by structure of material and how many types of structure of materials are there. Those things we have to discuss. So in this slide, we will discuss that one. If you see here, structure of metals, structure of metals. If you see structure of metals, if you see structure of metals, the structure of metals greatly influences the behavior and properties. Just now I told you, structure plays a main role in getting the properties and the behavior of the metals. So how they are behaving in different way because of the structure. So if you understand the structure, automatically you understand the behavior of the metals. And a knowledge of structure, if you are having a knowledge, then you can easily control the predict the behavior and properties in the manufacturing process. Okay. So if you understand the structure of the metals, then you can easily control the behavior and you can predict the behavior in the manufacturing process. So that gives your control on the materials while processing. Okay, that is the main advantage of studying this structure of materials. Okay, I'm repeating once again. So the properties and the behavior of metals depends on structure. So if you study the structures properly, what it will help you in understanding and in controlling the behavior of the metals when you process them. So they are very, very useful in the various manufacturing process. So if you know the structure of the materials properly, then you can easily control the material properties and its behavior while they are processed in various manufacturing process. So that is the advantage of studying structure of metals. Okay, so this is the main purpose why we are having the structure of metals as our second unit. And next, see, generally we know that if you take any material, they may exist in solids, liquids or gases. So three types of materials we may find. So solids, liquids or gaseous state. And if you go for structure of a solid material, so how the solid material will be? In order to, so here, how we are classifying it, see here, this is the structure of a solid material. If you see here, structure of solid material here, we are having a if you see here structure of solid material. So we are having four types of solid material structures, that is atomic structure, crystal structure, microstructure and macrostructure. So how they are classified? They are classified on the decreasing order of magnification. Okay, so in the decreasing order of magnification we have classified. So if you see here, on the order of decreasing of magnification, the structures can be classified like this. That is atomic structure, crystal structure, microstructure, and macrostructure. Okay, so solid state materials can be classified like this based on the order of decreasing magnification. Magnifications means we can see this one with a naked eye. We can see this one with a microscope, and it is subpart of this one. It is subpart of this one like this. So that is decreasing order of magnification. And next, atomic structure. Okay, so how a atomic structure looks like? So we have studied atomic structure in physics and chemistry. So how it looks like? It looks like a solar system. So what is meant by a solar system? In the solar system, what you are having? In the solar system, you are having the sun is at the center and the planets are revolving around the sun. Similarly, here also you are having same system. I will show you. If you see here, it resembles the miniature solar system. Miniature means small. So it resembles a miniature solar system, and it looks like a solar system which is in small size, we can say. It may be considered as a tiny sphere. And atom consists of nucleus and electrons. So every atom consisting of nucleus. In that nucleus you are having protons and neutrons, and these electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So nucleus is situated at the center and carrying net positive charge. So nucleus having a positive charge and the electrons revolve around the nucleus in the definite orbits which is having negative charge. So how it will look like? It look like a solar system. If you see here, so atomic structure, how the atomic structure will be? The atomic structures look like a miniature solar system. So what is a solar system? You are having sun at the center and the planets are revolving around it. Similarly, here you are having a nucleus at the center which is having a positive charge, and around the nucleus you are having electrons. They are revolving in different orbits and they are having a negative charge. Okay, so the nucleus is at the center which is carrying positive charge, and in that one you are having neutrons and protons, whereas the electrons are revolving around the nucleus which is having a negative charge. So it is similar to your sun and the planet, so that's why it's called as a miniature solar system. And if you go for the details, if you see here, if you see here, this is your nucleus. This is your nucleus, and these are the different orbits you are having. And if you see here, this is your electron. So here you are having positive charge because here proton is having positive charge, and this is electron. This electron is having negative charge. Okay, so these electrons revolve around this nucleus, around this nucleus. So if you see here, this one, it is moving in some other orbit. This is moving in some other orbit. If you see here, this is moving in some other orbit and this is moving in some other orbit. So in this way, it looks like a solar system. So you are having a nucleus at the center and the electrons are revolving around it in a different orbits. So next, grouping of atoms. So based on this grouping of atoms, so metallic properties depends not only on the nature of the atoms but also on the manner in which they have assembled. So how they are grouped together, how the atoms are grouped together, not only depends on the nature of the atom. So the atoms may have different natures. Not only the nature of the atoms which play a role, you are having another parameter, that is how the atoms are grouped together. So based on that grouping, we are having different types. So depending upon the grouping of materials, grouping of these atoms, we are having materials are classified into 3 categories. So the structure will not depend not only on the nature of the atom, but also on the grouping of atoms. So based on the grouping of atoms, we are having 3 varieties. First one is molecular structure, second one is crystal structure, and the third one is amorphous structure. So what is meant by molecular structure and a crystalline structure and an amorphous structure? These are very, very important in the exam point of view. Okay, so in the competitive exams also they may ask what is meant by molecular structure and what is meant by crystalline structure and what is meant by amorphous structure. Okay, we will discuss one by one. If you see here, molecular structure. So simple molecular structure. What is happening in the molecular structure? Here in the molecular structure you are having, if you see, in forms when limited number of atoms come together. That means the atoms are limited in size. Size in the sense number, 2, 3 or 1, like that. So if you take H2O, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. CO2, 2 oxygen atoms, 1 carbon atom. That means it is limited in size, in number. And they get strongly bonded to one another, then they are called as molecular structure. So H2 is one molecule, CO2 is one molecule, CCl4 is one molecule, O2, N2. All this comes under molecular structures. Here we are having limited number of atoms. They are bonded together, and you are getting a molecule. So results in group are called molecules. So that's why it's called as molecular structures. So what is happening here? Atoms are formed with a limited number to form a molecule. So atoms are joining in a limited number to form a molecule. Those are known as molecular structure, like H2O, CO2, CCl4, and O2 and N2. So these are the molecular structures. So within these molecules, the atoms are held together by strong attractive forces and have covalent or ionic bonds. So you may studied these things, what is covalent bond and what is ionic bond in chemistry. So because of the strong attractive forces, their atoms are held together with these strong attractive forces, and they may have a covalent bond or they may have a ionic bond. Because of this bonding, they are bonded together, and they will have strong attractive forces between them. So you are getting molecular structure. So what is meant by molecular structure here? Molecular structure is nothing but, so when limited number of atoms are bonded strongly together to form molecules, then the type of structure is known as molecular structure. Okay, so how they are bonded together? They are having a covalent bond and ionic bond, and they are having strong attractive forces among them. Because of that one, they are having a strong bonding together. So that's why you are having a molecular structure. So this is regarding your molecular structure. What is the second one? Crystalline structure, very, very important one. So because in our metals, we are having crystalline structure. So how the crystalline structure will look like and how the crystalline structure can be formed. If you see, atomic arrangements which have a repetitive pattern, that means the pattern may be repeated after some time. That means after some, you are having repetitive pattern. So in 3 dimensions of space is called crystalline structure or crystals. So here also you are having atomic arrangements, but that atoms are arranged in such a way that there should be a repetitive pattern in the 3-dimensional space. That type of arrangement is known as crystalline structure. So you are having atomic arrangement in such a way that they are having a repetitive pattern in the 3-dimensional space. That type of arrangement is known as crystalline structure. So fundamental unit of the arrangement. So what is the fundamental unit of the arrangement? It is repeated. So same thing will be repeated. So you are having a continuous one, but that pattern is repeated in all the 3 dimensions. Okay. So in a intervals, in a regular intervals. So you are having one structure. After that, you are having structure, repeated structure. So in this direction you are having, in this direction you are having, and in this direction you are having. In 3 dimensions, the structure, whatever the pattern you are having, that is repeated. So if the pattern is repeated in the 3-dimensional space, then it is called as crystalline structure or crystal. Okay, most of the metals will have this crystalline structure. If you take iron, copper, aluminum, zinc, all these will have this crystalline structure. So we have to remember here. So here also atoms arrangement only. But how the atoms arrangement? You are having a pattern that is repetitive in nature. How it is repeated, in which direction it is repeated? In all 3 directions it is repeated. That means it is repeated in the 3-dimensional space. So next, amorphous solids. So what is the meaning of this amorphous solids and how it is differs from crystalline solids? If you see here, amorphous structure of amorphous solids. So when the atoms do not have a long range repetitive pattern of arrangements are called amorphous. If you take crystalline solids, they are having repetitive pattern, but it is very long. Here, the pattern is not very long. The pattern is not very long. So when the atoms do not have long range repetitive pattern, when they are have long range repetitive pattern, we are having crystalline solids. When you are not having long range repetitive pattern, you may get such type of arrangement is known as amorphous structures. So you are not having a long range repetitive pattern of arrangements of atoms. So pattern breaks at different places. So there is no continuity. Some breaks are there. Okay, pattern breaks at different places. So pattern is not repeating at a longer length, longer range. Common examples of these amorphous solids are glasses and polymers. Glasses and polymers are called as amorphous solids. Okay, so structure of metals versus polymers. So what is the difference between structure of metals and polymers? If you see, only a small, very small difference will be there. So metals, ceramics are aggregates of atoms which can be regarded as array of hard or spherical atoms in three directions of space. In three directions of space. If you see here, metals and ceramic are aggregates of atoms. Aggregates of atoms is arrangement of atoms which can be regarded as arrays of hard and spherical atoms in three directions of space. Whereas, if you see the polymers, they form flexible chain in which molecules can be twisted up and intertwined. So it is not flexible, but here it is flexible. Okay, so that is the main difference between structure of materials and polymers. Okay, so it is not there in our syllabus, but without knowing these things, we are unable to understand what is meant by space lattice and what is meant by unit cell. So that's why we should understand these basic concepts of structure of materials and microstructure. If you see here, generally, what is meant by micro? That means it is very small. Without using microscope, we are unable to see it properly. That's why, so that type of structure is known as microstructure. If you see here, the appearance of structure of a material under a microscope is called microstructure. So whatever you are seeing by using a microscope is known as microstructure. If you want to study the material, and if you keep that material into the microscope, and if you study that material by using microscope, that type of structure is known as microstructure. Microstructure of a material consists of phase structure and gain structure. So you are having two, one is a phase structure and one is the gain structure. So what is meant by this phase structure? So how many phases are there, and what is the grain structure? How the grains are there? Whether it is coarse grains or whether it is a small grains you are having. So which type of grains you are having, that can be studied in the microstructure of a material. So what is meant by microstructure here? Microstructure is nothing but when you study the material under the observe by using a microscope, then we can call it as microstructure. So here if you see, you are having two types of microstructure, that is phase structure and grain structures. I will show you one by one. If you see here, the first one, if you see, this is the phase structure and this is the grain structure. So if you see, what is meant by phase structure? Phase structure expresses various phases that present. So that means a material will not exist in a single phase. So it may have multiple phases. So it will indicate how many types of, how many phases are of that material are there in that material we can study here. And if you see here, grain structure, that means shape and size of the grains. Grain structure means how the grains are. So what is the shape of that grain and what is the size of that grain? Whether it is coarse grain or a fine grain, that means whether the grain size is more or grain size is less. So you have to study these crystal structures to form the material. And if you see here, typical examples of grain structures are, we may have columnar or dendritic or equiaxid grain structures. But here we are having this dendritic structure, in our syllabus, dendritic growth. Already I showed you the syllabus contents. So here we are having this dendritic structure of grain growth. So microstructure, what is meant by microstructure? If we study the structure of a metal by using a microscope, then it is known as microstructure. What you are having in the microstructure, you are having a phase structure and a grain structure. What is meant by phase structure? In the phase structures, you are having how many phases are there in that material? You can understand. And what is meant by grain structure? So here in grain structure, you can understand what is the size of the grain and what is the shape of the grain. That means the shape may be different and the size may be different. Okay, you may have irregular shape, you may have a regular shape, you may have a big size, you may have a small size. That means you may have a coarse grain, you may have a fine grain. So this is microstructure. And coming to the next one, that is macrostructure. If you see the macrostructure, so macrostructure is nothing but the appearance of the structure of materials with a naked eye is called macrostructure. So with our naked eye, without using any aid, that means you are using a microscope in the previous one, you are not using anything. With your naked eye, you can, which type of structure you are seeing, that is called as macrostructure. And if you see crystalline solids, so what is, how many types of crystalline, already we have discussed what is meant by crystalline structure. And in crystalline structure, we are having different types of crystalline solids, that is single crystalline solids and polycrystalline solids. So what is meant by single crystalline solids and what is meant by polycrystalline solids, we will discuss. If you see here, crystalline solids, if you see the single crystalline solid, see here, in a single crystalline solid, atomic pattern is continuous. That means it is single, so the pattern is continuous. Okay. So in single and crystalline solid, the atomic pattern is continuous and it is a single crystal. So example, generally silicon and quartz are single crystalline solids. You should remember this examples, because in the competitive exams, they will ask, give examples for single crystalline solids, or which of the following is a single crystalline solid. So silicon and quartz are the single crystalline solids. And if you take the second one, that is polycrystalline solids. So what is meant by polycrystalline solids? In polycrystalline solids, if you see in the polycrystalline solids, several crystals are bonded together. So here only single crystal and the atomic pattern is continuous. But here in the polycrystalline, several crystals are bonded together. So most of the engineering materials are polycrystalline materials. So most of the metals, most of the engineering materials are polycrystalline materials. The example for single crystalline materials are silicon and quartz. Okay, so you have to remember the examples for single crystalline materials, that is silicon and quartz, which is very, very important for a competitive exam point of view. And most of the other materials are polycrystalline materials, and in that one, in the polycrystalline materials, the several crystals are bonded together. And coming to next point, what is meant by anisotropy and isotropy? So you may come across these words. What is meant by isotropy? Iso, okay, aniso. So what is meant by these words and this meaning we will discuss. So if you see here, anisotropy. So what is meant by anisotropy? So if you see, anisotropy means unequal in all the directions. So if you take one material or one crystal, if you take one crystal and if you take the properties, so you may have different mechanical properties like strength, hardness, toughness, ductility, brittleness. Okay. So if the properties are different in different directions, then it is called as anisotropy. So if you see here, the inequality of properties in various crystallographic directions. So in various directions, the properties are different. So in different directions, you are having different properties. That means the properties are different in nature, different in quantity. Then they are called as anisotropy. What is meant by isotropy? Same properties are exhibited in all the directions, in all the planes, then it is called as isotropy. So if it is not exhibiting equal or same properties in all the directions, we can say it as anisotropy. If it exhibits all the properties are equal in all the directions, then we can say it as isotropic. So if the properties are equal in all the directions, we can say it as isotropic. If the properties are not equal in all the directions, we can say it as anisotropic. So it is very, very important. So next, coming to space lattice. Okay, so this is very, very important in the exam point of view, because so our syllabus starts from here, space lattice. So define space lattice, write short notes on space lattice, they may ask. So you have to understand what is meant by space lattice. If you see the diagram, okay, what is meant by space lattice, you have to understand it properly. Lattice is the regular geometric arrangement of atoms in a crystal space. If you see here, lattice is the regular geometric arrangement of atoms in a crystal space. That means lattice, regular geometric arrangement. If you see here, this is one arrangement and this is one arrangement and this is one arrangement. If you see this one, if you observe this one, if you observe this one, I will show you. If you observe this one, if you observe this one, you are having one here, you are having one here, and you are having one here, you are having one here, right? If you see here, lattice is the regular geometrical arrangement of atoms in crystal space. So this is the crystal space you are having. So regularly, if you see this one, if you see this one, so they are regular in nature, they are similar in nature, and it is regularly repeating here, here, here. You are having same structure. So the imaginary lines that connect the lattice points in a configuration is called space lattice. So this is one point, this is one point, this is one point, this is one point, and this is one point, and this is one point, this is one point, and this is one point. These points, these are not actually really exist, just imaginarily we are connecting them, we are connecting them, we are connecting them like this. That means the imaginary lines that connect the lattice points, these are the lattice points, and these are the imaginary lines. What is visible, the line visible here is imaginary line. So this imaginary lines joins the lattice points. This is known as a space lattice. So space lattice is a three-dimensional network of imaginary lines connecting the atoms. So at the space lattice, at the lattice points, what you are having atoms. So here you are having one atom. 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 Okay. So from one atom to another atom, you are joining. From here to here, you are joining. From here to here, you are joining. From here to here, you are joining. These lines are not actually exist, but we are drawing them by considering our imagination. That means imaginary lines, they are not actually existing in the material, but they are drawing imaginarily. That means we are joining them imaginarily. So that type of arrangement in a three-dimensional space, if you see here, this direction, and this direction. So in three dimensions, we are considering. So by considering three dimensions, we are joining the lattice points. Lattice points are nothing but at the lattice points we are having atoms. So you are joining the atoms in a three-dimensional space in a regular pattern, then it is known as a space lattice. I'm repeating once again. This is very, very important topic in the exam point of view. If you see here, I will clear all this. If you see here, lattice is the regular geometrical arrangement. So regular, if you see here, this one, this one, this one, this one. So the regular pattern is repeated. So atoms in a crystal space. The imaginary lines that connect the lattice point. Lattice point is nothing but, see here, this one, and here this one, and here this one, and here this one, and here this one. And if you see here, this one, and one more, you are having this one at this point. Okay. And okay, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this, and this. And if you join this, if you join these lattice points, if you join these lattice points, So you're getting a structure. So if you see here, and from here to here, you are getting, and from here to you are getting. So the imaginary lines that connect the lattice points in a configuration is known as space lattice. So how they are connected? If you see here, space lattice is a three-dimensional network of imaginary lines. It is a three-dimensional. It is moving in three dimensional. That means it is having the space lattice having in 3 dimensions. So the imaginary lines are connected. The lattice points. Lattice points are nothing but the lattice points where having atoms. The atoms are connected in that three-dimensional space. That is known as, that arrangement is known as space lattice. So we're able to understand this one very carefully. Okay. So in this lattice, space lattice, if you take one unit, this one, this is one unit. If you see here, this is one. So if you see, if you observe this one or this one or this one, this one, all are similar. If you take one and if you observe this one, the whatever the properties it is having, it will all the this complete space lattice will have these properties. Okay, so this one is known as unit cell. So by analyzing this one, we can say that what are the properties it will exhibit, we can easily say. So that is known as unit cell. I will show you. See, what is a unit cell? If you see here, the smallest unit having full symmetry of the crystal is called as unit cell. So whatever the thing just I showed you, it is having a smallest portion, but which gives the complete picture of the crystal. That means the smallest unit, it is the smallest unit which is having full symmetry. So whatever the symmetry it is having, that means if you take that part, so completely, if it is surrounded, then you will get the space lattice. So that smallest unit is known as unit cell. And a unit cell is specified by 3 interspaces, that is A, B, C. So that means lengths, that is intercepts. And crystallographic axis generally X, Y, Z we will take. And the interfacial angles we will consider as alpha, beta, and gamma. These specifications are called lattice parameters of the unit cell. So what are the lattice parameters? So A, B, C, that is nothing but 3 intercepts, and X, Y, Z, that is crystallographic axis, in which direction it is there, and alpha, beta, and gamma, these are the interfacial angles. So what are the angles between these intercepts? And the these, so what we have discussed here, intercepts and crystallographic axis and interfacial angles, these parameters are known as lattice parameters. So whatever the specifications we are mentioning here, those are known as lattice parameters. I'm repeating once again here. So the smallest unit having full symmetry. So you are here taking the smallest symmetry and which gives the complete picture of the space lattice. That smallest unit is known as unit cell. And a unit cell is having 3 intercepts like A, B, and C. And you are having crystallographic axis. So in which direction it is having, that is X, Y, Z. So because it is a 3-dimensional, space lattice is a 3-dimensional one. So your unit cell will have 3 axes. And the interface angles. The interface angles are nothing but what is the angle between A and B, B and C, and A and C. Those are alpha, beta, and gamma. So these specifications are called lattice parameters. So 3 intercepts, crystallographic axis, and interfacial angles are known as lattice parameters. See, so this is a typical unit cell. Very simple to understand. If you see here, so if I place, see, so this is one lattice point, this is one lattice point, this is one lattice point. So these lattice points are joined together. And if I repeat same pattern here, and same pattern this side, and same pattern in the top, that means in the upper side, that means in the z direction. In the x direction you may have similar arrangement, in the y direction you may have similar dimension arrangement, in the z direction also you may have similar arrangement. So by taking only this one, we can analyze how the space lattice will be. Okay, so if you see here, you are having here, you are having x, you are having y, you are having z. These are known as crystallographic axis. And if you see here, a, here b and c, these ABC are known as intercepts. These ABC are known as intercept. And if you see alpha, beta and gamma, this alpha, beta and gamma are known as the interfacial angles. So how much angle between A and B, how much angle between B and C, how much angle between A and C. So if you see A and C, this is beta, it is B and C, this is alpha, and A and B, this is gamma. So these are the interfacial angles. Okay, I'm repeating once again. If you see, this is the diagram for a unit cell. If you repeat this pattern in x direction, y direction and z direction, what you will get? You will get a space lattice. Okay, so we are taking a smallest portion which gives the complete representation of the space lattice. Okay, here because it is a space lattice is the three-dimensional one, here we are having 3 dimensions, x, y and z. So x, so if you take this direction, this is x, see this is x and this is y and this is z. And you are having 3 intercepts a, b and c. So in x direction a, y direction b and z direction c. And if you take the interfacial angles, the angle between a and b is known as gamma, and the angle between a and c is known as beta, and the angle between b and c is known as alpha. These are the interfacial angles. And these a, b, c, x, y, z and alpha, beta, gamma are known as lattice parameters. Are known as lattice parameters. They will give the specifications for the unit cell. So if you see the summary, so we have started second unit, so which deals with the structure of materials. In the second unit, what so in the introduction, what we have discussed? So we have discussed, so what are the contents we are having in the second unit, that is structure of materials, space lattice, unit cell, and later we are having 3 types of structures, BCC, FCC and HCB structures, and we will discuss those things in the coming sessions. Later we have discussed crystallization of materials and how the parameters influence the formation of crystal, what is dendrite growth, and what are the factors that will influence grain growth, and what is the influence of grain growth on the mechanical properties. These things we will discuss in this second unit. So here what we have discussed in this session, what we have discussed what is meant by structure of, why we have to study structure of materials, and what are the different types of structure of materials are available, and what is meant by crystalline structure and what is meant by amorphous structure. And in crystalline structure, how the pattern is arranged, and in amorphous solids how the atoms are arranged, we have discussed. And what is meant by space lattice, these things we have discussed. And what is meant by unit cell? So the minimum value of the crystal and position of atoms is known as unit cell. So these things already we have discussed with the diagrams. In the unit cell also we have discussed lattice parameters. So if you see, if you go for some of the quiz questions here, so which of the following is a crystalline solid? So what is meant by crystalline solid? It is not that means it will not have a long range of repetitive nature. That means you are having some breaks. Which is that one? Crystalline glass. Sorry, it is a which is a crystalline one, not amorphous. It is a crystalline one. That means you are having a long range, regular, repetitive patterns. So that is copper. And which of the following is amorphous solids? So which is amorphous solid? It is nothing but glass, because the structure cannot be repeated for longer range. There may be some breaks. There may be some breaks. So because of that one, so we can call it as amorphous solid. Example for single crystal. I already told you this is very, very important one. For a single crystal structure. So which is the single crystal structure? Silicon or quartz? So here what is given? Quartz. So quartz is the answer. And so generally these things generally they will ask only few questions. So it is very, very important, because these two are very, very important in understanding the structure of materials. That is, define space lattice and define unit cell. So what do you understand by space lattice and what do you understand by unit cell? And distinguish between crystalline and amorphous solids. What do you understand by crystalline solid and what do you understand by amorphous solids, and what are the examples for crystalline solids and what are the examples for amorphous solids? These things we have to know.